Shalom Akim, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushai Ba'Shem Kadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Stone Rule Well. There's a brother Menashe DC Camp, another short lesson to edify the hopeful elect. So I got this short lesson to share with the Akim, because you have to be aware of Esau's technology and his idea, of using divinations to conquer the minds of the people. So you shouldn't be surprised, when you look at Esau's motives behind his so-called technologies and the products he keep bringing to the market and all the ideas he likes to use to promote them. It just shows you that there's a reason behind it, all right? And that's one thing you have to be aware of as a man of the Lord when you're reading through the scriptures. There's so many examples that tells you about Esau's, trickery, all right, to supplant, the elect, to supplant the whole house of Jacob. So you have to be aware. And then you look at this iWatch from the Apple Watch, whatever they want to call it. I saw so many other wearable technologies. Then he says on, see the caption, it says that the future of health is on your wrist. So you have to be, extra cautious, and, in this world, they tell you that health is wealth. And, the two go hand in hand. We know how Esau is. Esau doesn't really care about the health of the people. He's just there to rob them of their wealth. And the Lord Yahushai talked about don't let no man steal your crown, that you have to endure unto the end, all right? And then, you scroll down, what do you see? You see the so-called, what you call it, the electrocardiogram, graph, whatever. Then tells you 14 seconds. Try not to move your arm. It's reading your heartbeat. And that's what Esau's technology is about. To monitor people, to see what he can do with that information, and develop an effective mode of control. And that's what Esau's all about: control. Control the food, control the information. You have access to, control the type of products you have access to, so by him controlling people, is able to steer them in a direction he's, he has in mind. And that's no different with this technology, always pushing products on the news, and then they give you this idea that you're liberating yourself from the shackles of the old days, when people write things down in diaries and write things in books, and then say, oh, well, you don't really need all these books, taking up your shelf. Always put it on a Kindle, put it on an iPad, put it on your cell phone. They like to promote people that have businesses that they're able to run from the palm of their hand, from their cell phone. And that's what Esau wants the people to believe, that that's the only and the most important way to survive on earth, So when you Google that line, the line you see on your screen, it just shows you that just substitute the word health for wealth, and this is what you get on the screen, What you have, it goes back to divinations, It says clues about your future could be hidden in the lines, the lines of your wrist. Then say this line represents your wealth and your material success in life. And that's one thing about Jake. Jake's always going, online, contacting all these tarot card readers and all these psychics and all that. It's just madness, and that's exactly what Esau is, putting out there, the vibration that his technology is able to predict your well-being and let you make the right decisions. But that's not really what he's really trying to do. He's just gathering information about you, and that's also why he's pushing the RFID microchip to rob you of your wealth, to displace you from the good graces of Hamashiach Yahushai. All right, and that's the reason why he's pushing these technologies, so hard. Always gonna come on the news with his so-called actors and all these propagandists to make sure the product is attractive to the people. And that's just the palm reading. Look at the images. Just look at the images right there. You see right there. Health line, success line, influence line, strength line. Now you can see, you can understand the reason why the Lord told Adam and Eve not to eat of the fruit of the tree of good and evil. This is a type of philosophy that the Lord warned us about. Seeking familiar spirits and soothsayers. That's what it boils down to. They call it the wristwatch. Telling the time. Telling time, temperature, and all that. You could take a phone call and all, so it's just connected. Everything is connected. It says your fate is in your hands. This type of, situations that the Lord, warned Adam and Eve about. You can't stress this enough. This is grounds to be executed by the Lord. The Lord talked about things like this. And I'm just going to get a quick precept from the book of Ephesians. All right. Ephesians chapter 6 and 11. It tells you that put on the whole armor of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Kakadash, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. All right. So when you're not aware of Esau's motives for pushing these technologies, you're gonna end up, being a scapegoat. And then before you know it, you're at the bottom of the of the pile. At the end when the Lord Hamashiach shows up. So you have to be aware of what Esau's doing. Making things look so attractive that, man, I don't have to carry all this big bulky stuff. And then before you know it, Esau's cornering people. And then you look at the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 18. It tells you, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire. What's the gold? The word of Hamashiach Yahushai. His doctrine, his words, his gospel has been tested throughout, millennia, and they've been found to be valuable and true. All right, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed. All right, this doctrine is going to make us wealthy in wisdom, and that we will not be naked, meaning we will not be ignorant. All right, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear. All right, and that's how the devil, the serpent, all right, took advantage of the woman's ignorance. Despite being warned not to do that, but hey, that's what happens, man. And then it says, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. All right. And that's one thing, Adam and Eve weren't really, really, really aware of. What the Lord had warned them about. That if they saw things from the perspective of Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shema, Kadash, they wouldn't have sinned. But you know how it is. The Most High has his way, so he allowed it to happen. Okay, and now we see the results. The world is out of whack. So that's the reason why Yahushua is coming back to put the earth back in its proper, order. To put righteousness where it belongs. So there will be no more desire to be seeking after all these divinations and soothsayings. The Lord is coming to squash all that. Okay, so you read the book of Leviticus. All right, the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 13. It tells you that thou shalt not. 31. You know what? Let me read it real quick. Yeah, 13 is good. It says, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. And that's Esau's system, right? That's the description of Esau. When we sinned against the Lord, this is what happened to us. This curse came upon us, all right? So look at verse 31. It says, regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards. All right? I'll read one more time. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards, to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your power. All right? And that's a good advice right there. And when you look at the images, it says it lets you know what these so-called companies are into. They're into witchcraft. So you shouldn't just take things, whatever they say at face value. All right, it says the future of your health is on your wrist. So it's hilarious, man. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It says, here's what a number of bracelet lines on your wrist actually say. People go down to all these psychics to have their so-called fortune, read, and all those tarot cards and all that stuff. This is exactly, this is the reason why you have to be aware of Esau, man. And Amalek is the one that's pushing all this, weekend vibration on the face of the earth. So you have to pray you don't get caught up in it, because, the Lord talks about in the book of Revelation, about the accuser of the brethren, accuser of the elect, and the scriptures fill with so many examples where you have, people seeking towards familiar spirits and wizards and soothsayers. The scripture talks about that, all right? So you look at, you could just do a search, you just put in the keyword familiar or soothsayers or astrologers and prognosticators. It's in there, all right? I'm not going to get, all those scriptures. I'm just going to keep it brief. You could do your research and you see exactly, what this system of Esau is about, this Babylonian system. All right, so I'm going to get the book of Isaiah chapter 19, verse 3. All right, it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to wizards. All right, and you know how it is. DC basketball team is called the Wizards. And people are crazy about the Wizards, man. They even are crazy about the Capitals and the Nationals. The Wizards, Capitals, and the Nationals. You mix those three together, that's a bad combination when it comes to power on the left-hand side. So you gotta be aware of about Babylon, man. That vibration of familiar spirits is high. It's running high, and then you see it on the news. Esau's always trying to predict the weather, that is gonna be this is gonna be 75 degrees, this 75 degrees cold and colder than we expected. So you just have to be paying attention, man. It's just beautiful that when the Spirit of the Lord gets on the brother to send the image out, this is what you see. The Shah, the Quad, DC camp, send this in the chat, and this is what you see. It tells you. It tells you what's going on. You look at the heartbeats. Look at that. You're just surprised, man, of how far Esau's willing to go to keep the people in wonderland, keep them amazed at his so-called technology. And now you have the mark of the beast, out there, making its way throughout different sectors of the economy around the whole world, and a lot of money has been put towards it, whether it's in the healthcare sector, transportation, food industry, agriculture, and all that, and manufacturing. It's making headway in there, So you have to be aware of how far Esau is willing to go to set up a system to conquer, all lives, all nations on the face of the earth. Specifically, the nation of Israel, all right, the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos, and Native Americans, all right. So our people need to wake up, all right. And then another precept is going to be from the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, all right. If you look at verse 6, it tells you, therefore thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob. Why? Because they be replenished from the east. All right. And right, they're doing business with the folks from the east, okay? And soothsayers like the Philistines, so they're dabbling in the witchcraft, all these so-called divinations and all that, just like King Saul went to the witch of Endor, to try to get an answer from Samuel. And what happened? She had access to the spiritual realm, and Samuel told Saul that the Lord had rejected him. So it just shows you, that the left-hand side, has its effectiveness, but the Lord Yahweh is going to shut it down, okay? And they please themselves in the children of strangers, all right? So they're always trying to get into the doctrine of the other nations, man. When you see Jake travel, they want to go to all those temples and other foreign lands, in India with Taj Mahal. They want to go to Mecca. They want to go to Vietnam. They want to go to all those Buddhist temples, India, whatever, Cambodia, Indonesia. They want to go to those places, and take pictures and smile, all right? But when the Lord warns us that we shouldn't partake in those doctrines, a lot of people don't understand. They think, that, we're just restricting people's freedom, but that's the reason why, people get jacked up. So you gotta pray, that when you're in the world, that those judgments don't come on you, when you come back, when you come in the truth, all right? So another precept is going to be from the book of Micah, chapter 5. I'm going to read from verse 12 to 13. It tells you, and I'll be caught of witchcraft out of thy land, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. All right, so that's what's coming to Babylon. That's what's coming to our people. Wherever they are, the Lord's going to shut down, all that, desire to be seeking, unto familiar spirits, seeking answers and access from the left hand. The Lord is going to shut it down. All right, that's the time we're coming into. Okay, verse 13: thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, And thou shalt no more worship the work of thine own hands. All right? The work of thy own hands. That's one thing you have to be careful about. You see the apple says, a portion of it has been bitten off, and then it says, watch. Yes, Series 6, the mark of the beast. All right, so you just got to be careful, man. They tell you here, the history about when the first Apple computer was released. They tell you that the cost was $666. Right, so you just gotta be careful, man. On getting wooed by Esau's technology. You don't want to fall into that trap. That's why the Lord warned us to be circumspect. All right, you see the red, the red wristband. Yeah, man. So you just gotta be careful, man. This is not a joke. You're in captivity, so you have to pray the Lord Shai guides you. So to get another precept here, just gotta keep it simple, straight to the point. So the book of Sirach, chapter 34, verses 5 and 6, it tells you that divinations and soothsayings and dreams are vain, and the heart fancieth as a woman's heart in travail. All right, so folks are going to be desperate, man, to have, they're going to be inclined to seek answers about, what's going to happen to me, what's my future, and all that stuff. They want to be able to they want the power of prophecy. They prophesy on the left-hand side, we prophesy on the right-hand side, all right? But the folks that do on the left-hand side do it for vain reasons, and that's the reason why Esau is master of the left, always trying to make the people go astray. And that's the reason why the Lord has to get Esau out of the way, okay? So, it just shows you, how upset the Lord is with the world right now, because it's nothing but, divinations and soothsayings going on. You watching the TV, you on YouTube, you see advertising for tarot card readers and psychics, and then you see people giving testimonies and reviews and all that, and then you have programs on TV with necromancers and all that stuff. So you just have to be aware, man. The Lord, is long-suffering. After a while, man, when all that have reached the level, he has to shut it down, all right? Verse 6, it says, if they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them. So if it's not of the Lord, don't deal with it. Don't even think about it. All right? It's so clear. It says, if they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thine heart upon them. And that's what happened to Adam and Eve. All right? Specifically Eve, She fell for the trap. All right? She fell into that trap, of trying to be able to have access to information that's not necessary. And that's what happens. People get jacked up. Families get torn apart. So that's the reason why the Lord, is calling his elect out of the world, to leave the world alone, and to come into the light where you have a proper understanding of why things are. Okay, verse 7 says, for dreams have deceived many, and they have failed that put their trust in them. All right, Sirach chapter 34 verse 7, for dreams have failed, for dreams have deceived many. All right, for dreams have deceived many, and they have failed that put their trust in them. All right, so if it's not of the Lord, it's not going to generate anything, for your benefit in the long run. All right, so that's just the point that I can, you just got to be careful of how, you walk, while you're still in captivity. So this is the nonsense that the Lord warned us about, so you don't get carried away. So that's the point that I hope you've been edified. You gotta be careful, man. Yeah, it says the future of health is on your wrist. And when you type in Google, the future, the future of wealth is on your wrist. What are you gonna see? What are you gonna see? The hand and those wrist lines. Everyone born on the earth has fingerprints. They have wrist lines. And folks that go into all these things, they deal with it. So you gotta be careful, man. When someone tells you, give me your hand, let me read your palm, and all that, so you shouldn't be doing that stuff, man. The Lord warned us about partaking in that type of doctrine. So you gotta be careful, because you don't want to get the Lord angry and the Lord jacks you up. So I hope you've been edified. Be careful out here. It's dangerous. All right, Shalom.